is shining, it's a lovely day. A perfect morning for a kid to play. But you've got lots of bills to pay. What can you do? You work real hard and the pay's real low. And every hour goes oh so slow. But at the end of the day, there's nowhere to go but home to Avenue Q. You live on Avenue Q. Your friends do too. You are 22 and you live on Avenue Q. You live on Avenue Q. You live on Avenue Q.
Hello, my name is Jonathan. I'm a senior at Burbank High School this year, and I want to welcome you to the 2021 State of Schools program. "2020 was a year full of challenges for our country, our state, our community, and our school district. We left school for what we thought would be an extended spring break back in March 2020, and here we are, a year later.
Welcome back, Burros, and have a great first day of school.
We've seen our food services staff continue to feed kids and their families. We've seen our teachers become IT experts, and we've seen how much we all gain when we stay connected. In the next 40 minutes, you will hear about how our community rose to meet these challenges and found opportunity amidst the crisis."
Hello, my name is Cadence Lee, and I'm an 8th grader at John Muir Middle School. Earlier this year, my school organized an awesome virtual assembly focusing on empowerment and ways in which we could thrive. I learned that proper breathing can de-stress you and even improve your mental health. Activities such as that assembly go beyond the traditional education budget that California allots. Thanks to the creativity of my school and organizations like Burbank Arts for All Foundation and Burbank Education Foundation, we get these opportunities. I hope the new Burbank Arts and Education Foundation will do even more to support us. Here are the co-chairs, Anna Connell and Bob Moeller.
Hi, this is Anna Connell, past president of the Burbank Educational Foundation.
And I'm Bob Moeller, former vice chair of Burbank Arts for All Foundation. Between our two organizations, we have almost a 40-year history of supporting the students of Burbank Unified School District.
We loved volunteering to inspire others to invest in Burbank Unified students. But Burbank is a small community, and the needs in the school district have only grown over that time. So in 2020, our organizations merged and formed the Burbank Arts and Education Foundation.
Our why was simple. We believed that we were better together, better fundraisers, better community leaders, and also that this would be better for our students. Our mission is to inspire and engage the community to invest in the diverse educational needs of all 15,000 plus BUSD students.
Through that mission, we serve the entire district. 11 elementary schools, 3 middle schools, 2 senior high schools, Monterey Continuation High School, Community Day School, and the Independent Learning Academy.
And we aim to bridge the gap between what the state of California provides and what our kids actually need to thrive.
This is where you come in. We raise money through the generosity of people like you, our community members, parents, and local businesses.
Burbank schools are the cornerstone to our community, and they're the reason why, frankly, a lot of people come to live in Burbank. We at Burbank Arts and Education Foundation are just getting started in supporting all our BUSD students.
Join us today in becoming a volunteer or donor. Thank you.
My name is Rose St. Germain. I'm in 3rd grade at William McKinley Elementary School. On behalf of the Burbank Arts and Education Foundation, we'd like to thank the following sponsors for their support in today's event: UMe, Nickelodeon, Senator Anthony Portantino, Gain, Supervisor Catherine Barger, Logix, and UCLA Health Burbank. Thank you. Hello, my name is Clark and I attend McKinley Elementary School. I want to show you some of the ways we transitioned when the pandemic hit. I was ready to play Cyclops in last year's school production of Xanadu Jr. And with the help of our principals and our parents, they helped us run it without an audience, and it became a movie. All over the district, other amazing things can happen too.
There is no flash photography during the concert. That's right. You're not actually here.
You make every day feel like it's Christmas. Every day that I'm with you.
I'm going to double your salary. No, wait. I'll triple it.
Sir, this must be a bad connection.
Stop, children, what's that sound? Everybody look what's going round. Some people want it all, but I don't want nothing at all. If it ain't you, baby.
Quarantine is totes boring. Let's hang.
Okay, Queen, but make sure you wear your mask and everything.
Try us, Corona!
Who's this sweet fellow with his skin all green and his teeth all yellow?
Back up on the east, ride it back to the west. Dollar run their mouth, I might have to call it tech. Back with pun.
Who is it now? Oh.
Huh? Mr. Gyers!
Oh, hey, Mr. Gyers.
Oh my god, it's Principal Gyers. Principal Gyers?
What a bunch of losers.
You don't know!
I am the one that knows you. I am the one that cares. I am the one who's always been there.
You don't know!
I am the one that's helped you. And now you tell me that I won't give a damn.
When I say
You just don't know who I am.
Hi, my name is Tom Weiss, and I'm a BUSD parent and a proud board member of the Burbank Arts and Education Foundation. BAEF is thrilled to invite you, your teachers, and school community to apply for our upcoming spring grant cycle. Please apply no later than 4:30 p.m. on April 2nd. Our long history of grant giving programs have enriched lives of thousands of students, and we've given more than $1 million in grants. So please visit our website for more information, and thank you for participating.
Hi, my name is Leia, and I'm a second grader in the Dual Immersion Program at Walt Disney Elementary School. I'd like to introduce you to our superintendent, Dr. Matt Hill.
Hi, I'm Superintendent Matt Hill, and I want to welcome you to this year's State of the Schools. As you can tell, this is a very unique State of the Schools because we are now virtual. It's been quite a year since the last time we got together for an update like this. We saw some hardships, we experienced losses, we overcame challenges, and we focused on a lot of successes along the way. I want to thank all of the BUSD employees, from our custodians to our office managers, to our administrators, to our teachers, to our support staff. All 1,700 employees rose up to the challenge to endure a financial crisis as well as a health pandemic. Our number one focus continued to remain on our students and families, and at the same time keeping each other healthy and safe. It wasn't perfect, but we rallied together to survive one of the most difficult years that we've experienced. I also want to thank our elected officials, specifically Congressmember Schiff, Senator Anthony Portantino, Senator Hertzberg, Assemblymember Friedman, Supervisor Barger, as well as the entire Burbank City Council. They continue to listen to us, brainstorm with us, advocate for public education all throughout this pandemic. Without your support and leadership, we would not have gotten through the year. 2020 tested us. It tried to break us down, but we united as a Burbank community to make a stronger Burbank Unified School District. I want to highlight some of the successes from the past year. For example, our food services team partnered with nonprofits and foundations like the Chuck Lorre Foundation, and we distribute over 14,000 meals a week. We also distributed technology to all of our students so they can access distance learning. That over 6,500 Chromebooks have been distributed, almost 2,000 internet hotspots so that every single student could still pursue their education. These tasks were on top of our teachers flipping their entire instructional model to make sure that we continue to engage through social emotional supports as well as academic learning. While there's no looking back, there's only looking forward, I do want to take a moment and just acknowledge the loss that many of us have experienced. I think we've all have come across someone that has been drastically impacted by COVID. We remember those that impacted, and we continue to support those still suffering through this deadly disease. In today's State of the Schools, we want to highlight some of the innovative practices that we have deployed throughout the school district and what we want to continue going into the future. Because the future is bright for BUSD. We are one community, one school district that continues to focus on our students and look for ways to innovate. You're going to hear about how we shifted to distance learning during the pandemic, but still remain focused on equity, diversity, and inclusion. We're committed to make sure every student is seen and heard in Burbank Unified School District, and we know in the past that has not always been the case. This pandemic has taught us that we can use multiple ways to engage, whether it's through Zoom or virtually, recording lessons, making opportunities for parents to be engaged, not just pushing a one-size-fits-all model out to our students, but providing resources so that parents can access that information when it fits into their schedules. So we want to continue to build upon that. So the future is unknown, but the future is bright here in Burbank. We continue to plan, adapt, work together for a brighter Burbank. So I look forward to the rest of the State of the Schools, and I thank you for your participation.
Today I'll be interviewing my dad, Brian Robertson, about his childhood, how he grew up, and what was his favorite part about growing up in Colorado. So yeah, we'll get started.
When were you first interested in coding?
Oh, that's a great question.
It was okay until I learned what segregation was all about.
And is Hebrew a language that you speak?
Hebrew is a language that I'm learning to speak, and when I turn 13, I have something called a bar mitzvah, where it's basically a big celebration of you becoming an adult. I'm Chris, and this is my mom's journey from Vietnam to the United States.
He passed away when I was 11, but that's a lesson that he taught me at a very young age. So, yeah, put family first and work very hard and to always put school first as well.
Hi, my name is Yasmin Dunn.
And I'm Brenda Etterby. We're both BUSD parents and Foundation board members. We're excited to announce this evening that two incredible community partners, UMe and Warner Brothers, will be generously matching your donation through the State of the Schools.
Our foundation is so grateful for these two outstanding corporate sponsors in our shared mission of supporting BUSD students.
Hi, I'm Jill Tobin, and I'm a science teacher at John Burroughs High School. And my question is, what is DEI?
Diversity, Equity, Inclusion, or DEI, is a focus of the school district. We launched a committee over the last year, and we're looking at 4 key areas through this committee. The first one is looking at policy changes, and you have that lens of diversity, equity, and inclusion to make sure that all of our policies represent those ideals, the focus of that. Then you also have an instructional committee. We're looking at ethnic studies courses as well as our curriculum. You have a social emotional learning committee that's focusing additional resources to support all of our students. And then finally, an engagement committee so that we can focus on bringing in all voices. We want every single student, parent, and employee to be heard and seen in our school district. And so you have to engage in multiple ways in order to do that. We've come a long ways as a school district, but we know there's a long ways to go. And so we're very excited about this work. We all have different views of what DEI is. So we want to be very clear, what does it mean for BUSD? They're also going to be looking at professional development opportunities and trainings for employees so that we build that skill set. Could be focused on implicit bias. It can be focused on how we have conversations about race and equity in our schools. So we're really excited about that work launching. Recently, we noticed that our core novels, we have not reviewed our core novels in over 30 years. And it's predominantly white focus, white authors, white themes. And so we're working now with our teachers to come up with criteria on how we update our novels and our curriculum so that we have more of a diverse or more of a robust, we have multiple perspectives in our curriculum. So if you go to BUSD now, you can find, we have a hub where we have an overview of all the work we're doing as well as the resources. And you can find that on our homepage.
Hi, my name is Alexis Weiner and I'm an English teacher at John Burroughs High School. My question is, how is BUSD helping students cope with the pandemic?
This is something that we've been doing ongoing, working with our partner, Burbank Family Service Agency, making sure that students and families are aware of the resources they provide. We've also been doing a lot of outreach and connecting with students throughout the pandemic, and we're hearing those conversations. So I can give an example. Brendan Jennings, I know, spends time in his classrooms to just check in with students, see how they're doing. So the mental health and the social emotional wellness of our students, we've been doing that now, but we know, especially as students come back to campus, and it's another reason we want to be do a more methodical approach. We want to make sure we have the resource support students. So bring smaller numbers of students back so we know how to check in with them. We know how to refer them to the appropriate resources is something that we're focused on because we know how devastating this past year has been and how each student is addressing in different ways.
Hi, my name is Jason Figliozzi. I'm a Burbank resident and future Burbank Unified father. Dr. Hill, what does the budget outlook look like for Burbank Unified over the next few years?
Unfortunately, the long-term financial forecast for the school district is it's a challenge as it was last year. We went out there looking for additional revenue through Measure I, and it did not pass. 64% of our community supported that. But the same statistics are still there for California, for Burbank. As a middle class community, we don't receive additional concentration funding from the state to address our at-promise students. And we don't have local tax revenues like a parcel tax that other school districts. So we're in the middle. And that is making us to make difficult decisions. So we are still in a multi-year budget challenge. We're looking at over the next 2 years, over a $5 million deficit. Now we are being strategic. And as you mentioned, through the governor's January proposal, it was better. So we finally got a cost of living adjustment. The budget from the state projected zero. We actually received some now, but it's not enough. So we need to continue advocacy at the state level. We need to say that you cannot have schools emerge from a crisis when you underfund. We're very grateful for the state and the federal government to also give us stimulus funding right now to help us reopen, help us with learning loss. But that's only one-time funding. So we need a long-term solution to help us through that. We're making progress, but we are going to have to make difficult decisions. In addition to that, what we're seeing across California is a big drop in enrollment. So statewide, it's around a 3% drop in enrollment, and we're starting to see that here in Burbank as well. A lot of that was from kindergarten. So maybe families will return once we're able to return in person, but we don't know. So one thing we're going to do is focus on stimulus to keep smaller class sizes in elementary next year to help with students re-engaging in the school district, but also then see, is this a long-term trend? But we are going to have declining enrollment at the secondary level, so we are going to see a loss of some teachers. And we'll continue to freeze positions. Whenever we have a vacancy, we try to shift the work around and see if we can do it with fewer individuals. But I have to stress, we've been doing that for 3 years. We're as thin as you can get, and we have a superintendent's budget advisory committee that's been benchmarking against other districts, and they're looking at the reports and we don't see anywhere else you can cut on personnel. So you're going to have to focus on how do you attract students back into the schools. And I'm optimistic by focusing on safe schools and doing a smart reopening, families who feel comfortable returning their kids to school. And that way we can support them and hopefully bring back our enrollment. But we have to continue to advocate. And our parents also need to be able to give when they can. And I am excited about the launch of this partnership of Burbank Arts and Education Foundation. We've had a really strong beginning. I know that I've donated and many others have. And if you do, you can get a yard sign, be able to share with your neighbors that we give to Burbank schools and be able to be proud of the work that we do as a community. No donation's too small. If you can give $1, if you can give $1 a month, find out what makes sense for you, but that allows us to keep robust programs in our schools. And it allows our students to become engaged and our teachers supported as we do this work.
Hello, I'm Ingrid Moss, and I am a parent to students in 6th grade and 8th grade at John Muir Middle School, and I have an 11th grader at Burbank High School. Dr. Hill, what is the latest news on staff and teacher vaccinations?
We have great news. We've created our clinic with the Burbank Fire Department and the city of Burbank. Our nurses are working with our paramedics, and by the end of this week, every single BUSD employee will have had the opportunity to get their first dose. We've been able to accomplish that through our clinic as well as other partnerships. So former board member Dr. Roberta Reynolds at Hollywood Presbyterian was able to share appointments that were available for educators. So we quickly got that out to our school district employees. We had a parent that works with Eisner Health that was able to share available appointments for school district employees. And just word of mouth about all the county sites, our pharmacies, and people's health providers. So the great news is in 2 weeks, we have been able to offer vaccines to all 1,800 employees of the school district.
Hello, my name is Brian James. I'm an assistant principal of athletics and activities at Burbank High School. I'm sitting in the middle of our campus on Senior Hill, enjoying this glorious day for the moment. And I was wondering, can anyone give us an update on the school reopening? We'd really appreciate it. Thanks.
What we've been talking about all year long, it's now been a year, focusing on health and safety of our employees as well as our students. We wanted to make sure that we took all the safety precautions. And so we've been doing that with equipment. We've been doing that with social distancing and masks. Now with the vaccine, we know that that's the next big step for employees to have safety. So as we see the safety protocols roll out, we've been slowly adding additional programs. We've talked about the childcare and the extended hours we've done for that, those learning pods through Around the Bell or ATB. We've been doing interventions in small groups for students that who are struggling. And then this week, last week, on March 8th, we started doing special ed learning pods. All of these have been going very well. And we've been looking at the model to be able to keep consistency for those families and students who want to stay home. And so we want to keep the morning to have distance learning. And we've been able to see guidance to say this is how you can bring students back on campus for those that want to, some in-person instruction in the afternoons. All of that are great next steps. Now, I will be the first one to admit it's not the ultimate goal. We all want to return back to full-day instruction, but with the current health conditions and guidelines, we're making the next step. The last point I want to highlight on that is that you look at LA County Health, and this is all of us. We've been doing the right things. Our case rates are continuing to drop in LA County, which is amazing. We were having a huge spike, as we all know. Now we're down to 5.2 cases per 100,000. We aren't seeing the death rates that we were seeing before. So we know the community spread has dropped. So we feel it's safer to be able to come back. In addition, the state of California has set a target for all schools or some incentives to return by March 31st. They feel that these health conditions are improving, districts are putting in the protocols, and so we want to make sure that we are eligible for that as well.
Hi, my name is Wendy Wewell, and I'm a teacher of the deaf here at Washington Elementary School in Burbank. My question to you is, what are BUSD's goals with offering in-person learning opportunities in the afternoon?
So we know that distance learning has not worked for all students. So there's been a couple challenges. For some, they're thriving and they're going to stay in distance learning. So we want to honor that. And that's why our model is unique, because we're not disrupting that model for students. We want to make sure everyone has the same teacher and the same class. But then they can break out. For the students who have struggled, the two things we've been hearing are, one is just around academic supports. Now, some of that is they're not picking up as much of the learning through this direct synchronous instruction, so they're going to need to have some reteaching in person with a teacher, so that can be accomplished in the afternoons. Second, we know that there can be more small group intervention, so they can go deeper or they can be able to catch up on concepts that they may be struggling. The other big component is just the social emotional aspect. Students have been logging in and screens. They need that interaction. So just being able to come onto campus, get back into that school routine, see their teachers, see their classmates. The afternoon sessions will provide that. And we want to be able to weave in supports for students around the social emotional and the mental health aspects.
Oh, that noble feeling feels like bells are pealing down with double dealing. Oh, brother, you've got me, I've got you. Sweet butter, shoot, bang, bang, blah, blah, blah. Oh, no, here.
Hi, my name is Kayla Cruz, and I'm an 8th grader at the Lotus Huerta Middle School. I'm also the ASB president. In 2019, a concerned community member brought up to the board that David Starr Jordan believed in things that go against our values. A committee was formed to explore on this concern and ultimately suggest new names for the school. This year, at John Burroughs High School, the student body voted to find a new mascot that brings the community together instead of divides it. Burbank is a strong community with deep-rooted traditions, and we have shown that we are capable of change. For more on these topics, I would like to introduce our Burbank Board of Education President, Mr. Steve Frittner.
Well, first of all, thank you. I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to be part of the State of the Schools event, even as we've had to adjust for this year.
Hi, my name is Cagney Branham. I am a 4th grade teacher at Emerson Elementary School, and our question is, what have been the biggest challenges with distance learning?
I think it's been a huge challenge for teachers to try and keep students engaged while not actually physically in a room with them. I've had a chance to sit in on a couple of the Zoom classrooms, and I've been really amazed by the way the teachers have adapted to the virtual setting. Our families and students deserve a lot of credit too, not only just for managing the aspect of it, of the distance learning, but working through the technical aspects of it and finding the focus on the individual subjects to keep them moving forward.
Hi, my name is Adam Coleman. I'm the advisor for the Black Student Union at Burbank High.
Hi, I am Wajgana Mamjama, and I am a co-chairperson for JET, the Justice and Equity team.
Hi, I'm Yesenia Lopez. I'm a school counselor at Burbank High, and we are the Burbank High Equity team. And what we would like to know what DI initiatives will play a critical role in helping our district evolve.
We've really focused this year as a district on diversity, equity, inclusion areas. We've had a DEI committee for several years, but we really, especially in light of a lot of the things that happened during the past summer, we didn't want to just pay lip service. Again, we really want to, move the needle forward. We've been doing that this year. I think everyone's pretty aware that we passed an anti-racist statement earlier this year during the fall, trying to, make it clear to people that we recognize there's a past in the city of Burbank and in the school district that isn't favorable, that didn't treat everyone equally, that was not inclusive of everyone. We want to move past that. We're just looking for a better path forward, something where everyone who comes to school in our district, every student can feel validated, can feel not just accepted, but included, like they belong here. This is their school and their district too.
Hi, my name is Michael Considine, and I'm a special education teacher at Luther Burbank Middle School. The Board of Education has designated March as Intellectual and Developmental Disability Awareness Month. Can you expand on this and what it means for teachers and their students?
When we talk about DEI initiatives, most people focus on the racial aspect of that, which is incredibly important. But inclusiveness means looking at and paying attention to everyone. And we've got a lot of groups that haven't probably had enough recognition as they have needed in the past. We've certainly had, say, LGBTQ individuals, which we've recognized LGBTQ month in the past. This is just another step in that process. We see recognizing this group, the individuals with intellectual disabilities, as just another group that we have been serving for a long time, and have teachers and staff who've really been dedicated to helping individuals in this area grow, learn and grow and be self-sufficient. And it just felt like a good time to recognize that as well.
Hi, my name's Jen Culbertson, and I'm the principal of Providencia Elementary School. 11 years ago, I began my career as a school administrator as the assistant principal at David Starr Jordan Middle School. I was hoping you could explain a little bit of the background behind the renaming of the school. Thanks so much.
This has been a long process. It's been over 2 years that we've been working on it since the issue of the David Starr Jordan name was first brought to our attention. And it was a very deliberate process intentionally, because we wanted to have a chance to take a lot of input from the community. To be honest, there were a significant number of people who were not interested in having us change the name, who felt that that was inappropriate for us to do. But there was much more support for changing the name, for looking forward. So when we did that, again, that part of the process, when we had agreed to seek a new name, we were again deliberate. We included the community. We took a lot of suggestions. There were over 900, I believe, suggestions emailed. And the committee who worked on it gathered a lot of names. But ultimately, what we were looking for, certainly we wanted to look at naming the school after a woman, because we have no schools in the district that were named after women. We had none that were named after people of color. So that was also a consideration. And the ultimate candidates that that were the finalists that the board discussed were all great candidates. There were 4 after individuals, and one that was a suggestion was Mariposa Middle School, which is the name of the street the school is on. But rather than go that route, we did want to, since our other schools are named after individuals and all men, we felt this was just too much of an opportunity for us to honor a very deserving individual, either woman or person of color or both. And the choices we had were all great, but ultimately we felt Dolores Huerta was someone who really represented a significant portion of our community in Burbank, was someone who had been, who was earlier in her career was actually an educator. She spent a couple of years as a teacher, but represented some really great values. We want our students to know who Dolores Huerta is and what she's done in her career, in her life, and the advocacy she's had for the working people in the farming community, and how instrumental she was in the forming of the United Farm Workers. And so ultimately, we felt that this was a very representative individual for the type of values that we think the district should represent, and also a woman and a person of color who represents a significant part of the community, that will give students a chance to actually feel like there's someone they can identify with and look up to.
My name is Mana Zadorian. I am in 2nd grade. I attend Miller Elementary School. I would like to introduce to you the Teacher of the Year. She is my teacher, Miss Erica Dett. She is kind, smart, and thoughtful, and she is the best teacher in the world.
Tell me, when was the last time you asked your child how we can all be good humans? I'm Aziza Schuler, taking you inside this classroom in Burbank, where 2nd graders are learning about diversity. As a little girl, Erica Dent found very few books with people who looked like her, with brown skin and curly hair. She was raised in a small town in Virginia, oftentimes the only black child in her classes, and very rarely did she learn about her own history.
It wasn't until I was much older and doing research on my own that I learned so much more about Black history, and that's definitely something I wanted to be able to teach my students.
In Miss Dent's 2nd grade class, her library reflects the diversity she sees in her classroom and in the world. She walks in every day with a purpose to make sure all students feel seen, heard, and represented.
Hi, Kristen.
Hi Rory.
The Joaquin Miller Elementary School teacher is Burbank's Teacher of the Year. She was also selected by the state superintendent as California Teacher of the Year finalist. And it's her inclusive and anti-discrimination curriculum that's being praised.
Culture is like the things that, it could be like music, traditions, food, languages that a group of people share.
Ahead of Thanksgiving, Miss Dent is teaching her students the cultural importance of Indigenous people.
Tribes and take ancestral lands or lands from Indigenous people, Indian culture still was resilient.
Challenging them to recognize.
Is this a story that is a window for you or a mirror for you?
Mirror if they see themselves in the character, or window if they're learning something new. The majority of her students are Armenian, Latinx, and Black, so she finds it important to integrate curriculum that decenters white excellence and explores historical truths of people who look like them.
I want them to be able to see it at a young age, so it's not something completely new when they're older working adults.
It's not always easy to have these conversations with 7- and 8-year-olds. It actually requires Miss Dent to do a lot of self-reflecting.
I'm hopeful that as they grow, they will remember these lessons. They will remember, just have a respect for different people and have a respect for different cultures.
Slowly closing chapters of racism and biases in education and eventually in our nation.
Hi, I'm Evan Huerta, and I am the head of our Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion Committee and a proud member of ASB here at John Burroughs High School. I want to thank you for joining the Burbank Arts and Education Foundation to celebrate our 2021 State of the Schools program, and I want to thank my teachers, my parents, and my entire community for their commitment to my education. As you have seen, BUSD is proud to have turned a worldwide pandemic into new methods of instruction and learning and social justice movements to local growth and progress. We as students will do our part, but we hope you will donate so that BUSD can maintain their growth and legacy of equity and excellence.
September 1918 by Amy Lowell. This afternoon was the color of water falling through sunlight. The trees glittered with the tumbling of leaves. The sidewalks shone like alleys of dropped maple leaves, and the houses ran along them, laughing out of square open windows. Under a tree in the park, 2 little boys, lying flat on their faces, were carefully gathering red berries to put in a pasteboard box. Someday, there will be no war. Then I shall take out this afternoon and turn it in my fingers, and remark the sweet taste of it upon my palate, and note the crisp variety of its flights of leaves. Today, I can only gather it and put it into my lunchbox. For I have time for nothing but the endeavor to balance myself upon a broken world.